we now welcome in West Virginia head coach Ross Hodge, formerly the head man at North Texas. He is now part of the Big 12 coaching fraternity. Ross, welcome. What have the last 6 weeks been like, man?
Man, it's been a whirlwind, as they say. Just finishing up that run in the NIT with North Texas, which I've said before, but was extremely thankful and grateful for both administrations here at West Virginia and then also at the North Texas to, let me finish that out. And really from the moment, that last buzzer went off there in the NIT semifinals, have just been hitting the ground running, trying to, put together the roster here and get acclimated in Morgantown, which has been awesome. Everybody's been incredibly welcoming to myself and my family, and feel good about the roster we've been able to put in place, and still need a couple more to finish it all the way off. But yeah, it's been good.
Now, from what you've gathered so far, I know you haven't coached a game yet at West Virginia. What is the biggest difference in being a power conference head coach versus a mid-major head coach?
I think some of it probably is more dependent on the location that you're in. Mm-hmm. Being in Denton for 8 years, you're just north of Dallas. Obviously, you got the Cowboys, Mavericks, Stars, other major universities. And then you come to a place, like West Virginia here, there is no pro sports teams around, and you go from, a relatively anonymous life to not much anonymity anymore, in Morgantown. That's probably been the biggest personal difference, just from the last month. But on top of that, recruiting the portal, kind of feels the same. Obviously, you're maybe dealing with a little bit different level player and some of the other factors that go along with that. But that part you're doing in the spring, no matter where you are. I mean, you're just hitting the portal, trying to piece together a roster that you feel good about that can compete. And so that hasn't changed much. But to answer your question, just going from, relatively anonymous, even in Denton, to not much here.
Now, you have only been a Division I head coach for 2 seasons, but in that time, you have led North Texas to back-to-back trips to the postseason NIT. Why do you think you've been so successful during your first couple of years as a head coach in Division I?
Yeah, I've been fortunate. Like most of us, been fortunate to coach really good players in those 2 years, and did have a great staff and had a group of guys that really, bought into the way that we wanted to play and played for each other, and had elite defenses there and really good guard play. We had 2 first-team all-league guards back-to-back years, and if you're able to put together a really good defense mirrored with elite guard play, you're probably going to have some success in college basketball.
Now, one of the things, too, that obviously made this a more seamless transition for you is you worked with Ren Baker, who's now the AD at West Virginia, when he was the AD at North Texas. I'm curious, when you found out that Darren DeVries was leaving West Virginia for Indiana, how quickly did you start to think about the fact that, you could have a chance at West Virginia?
Yeah, I mean, things happen so fast in college athletics. And, I don't remember exactly the timing of when Coach DeVries and all that went down. Obviously we were still playing. So you're like, you're in a little bubble
right,
of trying to give everything you have to that team and those players. And, it really wasn't something I put a lot of thought into until it actually started looking like it could happen or could become a reality. But I'd stayed in touch with Ren through the years from his time period, and was happy for the success that they were having here last year. Definitely thought they did a great job.
When did Ren reach out and express his interest in talking to you about the job?
I think from the initial, again, like, man, it gets a little hazy, just because it was such a whirlwind. But I think it was all really quick, man. It happened fast. I mean, I would think the whole process from initial contact to, official announcement was probably within a week span. I don't know the exact day or but it happened quick.
Now, the positive is obviously you became a power conference head coach, a coach in the Big 12, but probably one of the negatives is you're going to be in the same league and have to compete with the man who you worked for at
Yeah.
North Texas, who's now at Texas Tech, and Grant McCasland. What do you think it's going to be like when you have to go against Texas Tech and Coach McCasland?
Well, we competed against each other as young junior college coaches when he was the head coach at Midland Junior College and I was the head coach at Parrish Junior College. We were both two young guys that didn't even know what we were doing, but we thought we knew what we were doing. But we competed against each other then, and obviously just competed against each other in practice settings as well. So it'll be fun. I mean, like Coach McCasland, Grant's a high end competitor, one of the most competitive people I've ever been around, and I would imagine there'll be a healthy level of respect, but at the same time, when you kind of get into playing games, you really are. I mean, we're not playing against each other. It's just trying to figure out the best way to give our guys, our team, the best chance to beat them on that night. And you kind of remove all the other storylines and stuff like that. But it'll be fun.
Now, I know being a head coach in the Big 12 can be daunting if you look, obviously, at the level of coaching in this league. But from your perspective, being in a situation where you probably had to win your conference tournament to reach the NCAA tournament, how invigorating is it to be in a league now where you have so many quad one opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, it's what we all want to do, right? You want to play against the best. You want to compete against the best. You want to play in the best venues. And like you said, I mean, the thing it provides you the most is opportunities. And that's what as a competitor, as a coach, as a player, that's what you want. You want the opportunity to put yourself in position to have success in late March. And obviously the better chance you have at getting into the NCAA tournament, the more chance you have, the better chance you have of making a run in March, and I think if you look at traditionally, that's what teams that if you can just get in the NCAA tournament league consistently, eventually things happen, upsets happen across of you, and you can find yourself being a game away from the Final Four, a game away from the national championship. You can find yourself in the national championship game, but before that happens, you gotta get in it, and obviously being in one of the best basketball leagues in the country, if not the best basketball league in the country, it's going to afford you a lot of opportunities to show your worth and get in the NCAA tournament.
Ross, what are your impressions of the roster that you've put together so far?
Yeah, excited about it. I like the fact that so many guys have been part of winning programs and know how to win. You look at, Honor Huff won the NIT. Big Harlan was on the NCAA tournament team at UNC Wilmington. Jackson Fields was on the NCAA tournament team in Troy. Jasper and Brennan Lorient, both have won at a high level. The transfer from South Carolina, Morris, he played on the NCAA tournament team as a freshman. And then obviously, Eagle Staff's talent and scoring prowess gives us an opportunity where I think we have a good baseline of understanding of what it takes to win and have been a part of winning. Now we just got to figure out like how we're going to win together. And so it's not like you're having to teach guys how to win. It's just more like, okay, like we all have experience winning. We know how to win, but how are we going to win together? And, even our young, the high school kids we've signed, Jaden Forsyth and DJ Thomas are really good players that have been part of winning where they were as well.
Obviously, one of the main things you need at the power conference level, in addition to good players, is having a world-class practice facility. And in doing this job now, seeing so many different campuses and different setups, I can say without hesitation that West Virginia's practice facility is second to none. It is the elite of the elite. And a big reason for that was obviously the efforts of one of the former head coaches of West Virginia in Bob Huggins. I'm curious, have you had any dialogue with Coach Huggins since you were hired as head coach of the Mountaineers?
I haven't yet. Certainly am hopeful that we will get a chance to get connected. And he did so much, not only for the program and the university, but he did so much for the state of West Virginia throughout his tenure. And you said it best. And we played against West Virginia in 2021 at North Texas. It was post-COVID, so there wasn't fans here. We were kind of in and out. But I had not seen the practice facility, my office. I hadn't seen any of this until I actually came up for the press conference, and I was blown away at how nice this place is. And again, a large credit, to Coach Huggins and the people that supported him. And it's not something that I take lightly. The history of West Virginia basketball. Jerry West, Rod Thorne, Hot Rod Hundley, Coach Beeline, Coach Catlett, Coach Huggins. It's something you definitely feel. And I definitely have every time I step foot in this office, every day I have a great level of appreciation and gratitude for what Coach Huggins did while he was here.
So how do you embrace that and make him feel like he's obviously the figure that everybody knows he is in West Virginia basketball history, while at the same time moving forward with your own imprints on the program?
Yeah, I think like I said, I think I would hope, they say time helps some people and time can hurt some people.
Mm-hmm.
And I would certainly hope that time will help us. And the more time Coach gets to see how we play, get a chance to meet myself. And I think he'll appreciate the way that we play the game, and the toughness, the grit, the togetherness. I think it's something that, not only he, but the rest of the state of West Virginia can get behind and really appreciate.
Well, Ross, as you pointed out during your opening press conference when you were announced, some people have been known to say that West Virginia basketball at a time was tougher than a long weekend at your in-laws. Is that the way you want to be known as West Virginia's head coach?
I certainly hope so. I think there's something to the blue collar nature of this state and this people, and a feeling of walking off that floor and just like, man, that was not that you're going to win every game, but you certainly hope that people don't want to play against you. That's the ultimate goal of anybody. That's doing a great job with their team, is just like, man, they were tough, they were physical, they were tough to play against, they were prepared. And I think that's something that we would like to continue to do here. And Ken Palm has the Coliseum, as the number one ranked home court advantage in the country, and that's something that we want to lean into, and hopefully is a strength of ours as well.
Well, let's talk about your non-conference schedule for a second. You're going to have 2 games in Charleston. You're going to play Ohio State and Cleveland. We also have Pittsburgh as part of the backyard brawl. Is there anything else of significance on West Virginia's non-conference schedule for 25-26?
There definitely will be. Not anything that we can announce, but still working on a couple, high-level neutral court games that we'd like to be involved with and challenge ourselves in the non-league. It's something we always tried to do, even at North Texas, and want to continue to do that here, even though you do have so many built-in quad one opportunities, once you get to the Big 12. But, playing those type of games, I think only help you. They don't hurt you in any way, and just more opportunities and help you grow as a team, and doesn't give you any sense of like false security of who you are as a team. I like to challenge ourselves. And so still looking for a couple, high profile marquee games and see if we can get a couple of those to the finish line.
Final thing, Ross, what are the biggest things you hope to accomplish in your first season in Morgantown?
Obviously want to get back to the NCAA tournament. That's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal would be, to win a national championship. I think that's what, everybody wants to do. Obviously, it's not easy to do, but that's what we want to do here. And to do that, you gotta put a team together that's connected and tough and plays for each other and plays the right way. And that would be the goal. Is to not only get in the NCAA tournament but advance. And the one thing that the portal giveth and the portal taketh away. But in this time period, you can, it does give you the opportunity to put a roster together quicker than you would if the portal wasn't a thing, and kind of shape a roster that you believe in. And I feel good about what we've been able to get so far, and just got to finish it strong here. And the guys will start showing up on campus, and shoot, man, another week or so, and the journey begins.
Well, Ross, congratulations on the job. Thrilled for your success. I remember when we first crossed paths, you were an assistant at Colorado State. So awesome to see your rise. And as always, look forward to staying connected along the way.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for having me.
You got it. It's West Virginia head coach Ross Hodge. I'm John Rothstein. We'll be back after this.